A report says the Clippers could trade Lou Williams, and I get it. After Montrezl Harrell left, his pick and roll partner is gone. Lou had a horrible playoffs. Still, this is a gamble. They would be flipping a 3-time Sixth Man of the Year that most contenders would make a deal for. This video explains the top 4 realistic lemon pepper Lou trades and what the Clippers are looking to get back. Hey, it's Casey. Welcome to another week on AM Hoops. 5 videos per week dropping at 9 a.m. Eastern. Hit subscribe as we push to 100K. But a lot of you have asked who makes the thumbnails for AM Hoops. His name is Philippe Guillerme. Check out his Instagram. I put it down below in the description. So if you need thumbnail artwork, he does that. Or really art for anything sports related or whatever. Like, you can see his talent. It's unbelievable. You should see this Chris Paul thing that he did that the Oklahoma City Thunder official account liked because it was so awesome. So go check him out. Tell him you came from AM Hoops. DM him on Twitter. Again, link down below in the description. So to recap LouWill's bubble experience, it wasn't just the chicken wing incident. He was a disappointment on the court. In 13 games, he averaged just about 13 points on 43% from the field and 24% from downtown. That's disgusting. He had just 3.2 boards and 4.2 assists a game. His defense was bad, but that's not new. They had to hide him on D all year, and it didn't always work. So why the hell would anyone want this guy? Actually, there are 2 main reasons he could have big trade value, and the Clippers could actually upgrade by dealing him. The first reason is his $8 million expiring contract. Look, that's not huge, but teams value deals like that to clear cap space in the summer. Reason number 2 is his track record. Yes, LouWill had a bad postseason, but every Clipper outside of Kawhi did. In the regular season, Williams averaged about 18 points and 6 assists. Wait, so why would the Clips trade him if he could bounce back? Yes, the defense is bad, but it could be bigger than that. Lou Williams could be a bad locker room fit for this team. Reports came out multiple times that the old Clippers thought that the new Clippers were pampered, specifically Kawhi Leonard. They already let Montrezl Harrell walk. Lou Williams could be next. So if that's true, then there's only one thing the Clippers really need, and that's a playmaking point guard. They signed Serge Ibaka already to replace Montrezl Harrell. They re-signed Marcus Morris for wing defense and shooting. They flipped Landry Shamet, but got Luke Kennard as a replacement. Point guard, though, is a problem. Last year, the Clippers used Kawhi Leonard sometimes to initiate offense like he's LeBron James. Look, it wasn't awful, but that's not his role. To complete their offseason moves, they need someone to initiate that offense. So these are the 4 trades to turn LouWill into the playmaker they need. Number 1, the Nets trade Spencer Dinwiddie for LouWill and Luke Kennard. Brooklyn gets 2 more shooters around KD and Kyrie. LouWill would get wide open looks on this team. Dinwiddie comes off the bench for the Nets, but so would LouWill. This deal puts the ball more in Karis LeVert's hands for Brooklyn, and that makes him a better player. In LA, Dinwiddie can run point for the starting unit. He's got great scoring ability, but his game isn't selfish. He could be a pass-first guy if needed. Dinwiddie is a fringe all-star and deserves his own team. It's a lot of shooting to give up for the Clippers, but it fixes their biggest need. Next up, the Pistons trade Derrick Rose for LouWill and a 2022 second-round pick. So this is basically a straight swap for 2 guys over 30 on the last year of their deal. The Clippers include a second-rounder because Rose has a little more value. He's not the perfect fit in LA, yes, especially on defense, but there's no denying D Rose is a playmaker. He just had his 10-year high in assists at about 6 a game. He's also a great scorer to make up for losing LouWill. The Pistons are clearly rebuilding. They have no use for Williams, but adding that pick is worth it. It may look like this deal is lopsided toward the Clippers, but actually they are taking a gamble because of D Rose's health. He was mostly healthy last season, but that's because Dwayne Casey kept him on a minutes restriction. Could Derrick Rose stay healthy in a starting role on a contender? The Clippers hope so. Next, the Hornets trade Terry Rozier for LouWill, Ivica Zubac, and Daniel Oturu. I know, trading Zubac hurts, but that's what the Hornets need or this deal doesn't get done. Charlotte is rebuilding, but they need a good young center, and Zubac leaves the Clippers bench to the Hornets starting lineup. As for Scary Terry, Charlotte drafted another point guard in LaMelo Ball. Either Devontae Graham or Rozier is out, and Rozier already hinted a trade could be in the works on his IG. Again, defense, not great, but Rozier is an accurate passer who makes smart decisions with a great handle. He had just 4 assists per game last year, but that was more Devontae Graham's role. Rozier would do even more with added responsibility. The Hornets are going for the playoffs, and LouWill is a win-now vet that could put them in the 8th seed. Moving Rozier also opens the depth chart for LaMelo Ball to start on day 1. At backup center, the Clippers go with their first-round pick from last year in Fondue Cabangeli. And finally, the Dallas Mavericks get Lou Williams and a 2022 second-round pick for Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Josh Reeves. This also seems like a lot to give up for Dallas, but Lou Williams is actually the perfect offensive addition for them. He and Tim Hardaway Jr. take turns as the 3rd best scorer on the Mavericks. Luka needs shooters to kick out to, especially with Seth Curry's exit, and LouWill is perfect. Dallas still needs to improve defensively, but replacing Jalen Brunson with Lou Williams doesn't hurt. LouWill's contract is expiring, which perfectly lines up with Dallas's plans for Giannis. For the Clippers, Jalen Brunson is the best pure playmaker they can make a deal for. He's coming off an injury, which is a concern, but Brunson has a great basketball IQ and initiated offense for the Mavs' second unit. He didn't play as many minutes last year, but his per 36 stats are good. About 7 assists per game. With an increased role in LA, he would flourish. Now there is a 5th deal out there that I guarantee you will hear about, but I definitely would not do. The Pacers get Lou Williams and Patrick Beverley for Victor Oladipo. Now this sounds good because Oladipo is a great defender who would create a legit big 3 for the Clips if healthy. The Pacers add Pat Bev, who is a defender as well and could back up Malcolm Brogdon. They actually need guard depth too, so LouWill fits in. There are 2 big issues that kill this for me. Number 1, Oladipo is not an elite playmaker. He's another guy who needs the ball in his hands and does not fix their main issue. Number 2, the Clips locker room seems fragile right now. I've seen way too many red flags for Oladipo lately with the Pacers front office. He seems like a guy that would hurt their chemistry, not help it. Once again, there are huge expectations for this Clippers team, and if they make this LouWill deal and fill that point guard issue, I think they can finally compete with the Lakers to represent the West in the finals.
Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.